All right, from time to time, we see this from coaches and people in sports. This time, it's Kentucky coach Mark Stoops comparing Brock Bowers to Michael Jordan. He's not Michael Jordan, so let's just start there. But he is really good. And there's a couple reasons why, as a basketball player from the 90s, this is a tough comparison for anybody. I mean, Michael Jordan was unbelievable. He is always, I mean, I think Tom Brady lost Super Bowls. Michael Jordan never lost in the finals. So he's 6-0. Essentially, his adult career in the league in the NBA was undefeated at the in the on the championship level, and it's hard to compare him to anybody. But I get what Stoops is saying here, and I mean, I don't think he's just saying it. If you watch Brock Bowers, for those of us who are on the field, watching Brock Bowers, what he does on TV is amazing. When you see it up close, and you can hear him scream on the sideline with adulation after the game-winning 40-yard touchdown against Auburn, he is really spectacular. I don't really know how else to say it. I mean, he is a spectacular player, someone who Georgia has not had in a very long time. Um, there is a real big discussion of who are the sort of greatest Georgia players of all time. You're going to always have Herschel probably at the top. I will say I do think Stetson Bennett certainly challenges Herschel at this point, but we can have that discussion for another time. Then you have other folks, whether you're talking about, David Pollock, Trippy and Sanquich, Fran Tarkington, uh, you know, I mean, Georgia's had so many spectacular players, but how many of them have played on back to back national championship teams? How many of them have been consequential on those teams? I mean, Brock Bowers, if you think about it, let's just review real quick as we chill out in our Eco Poly chair before this Georgia Kentucky game. Make sure you're getting 15% off any of their items. These are two tones, obviously gray and white, easy to clean, 20-year warranty, completely recycled, made in the heart of Georgia in Eastman, Dodge County. For those of you keeping score at home, just off of I-16. Uh, Take advantage with the link down below. When you think back to Brock Bowers, think back to the first. I think it was the first play against Clemson was a Brock Bowers catch, or the first to convert a first down. He was right there. The final play, the final offensive play of Georgia's win over Alabama, 33-18. How they got to an 8-point lead against Alabama was a 3rd-and-1 from Stetson Bennett to Brock Bowers, and it was just Stetson. I think it was Marcus Rosenjack Saint out there. I can't remember, but man, it's just they had no shot of stopping him. No shot. So Georgia, I think now y'all, yeah. Now listen, now I'm going to get something wrong here about this because I can't quite remember this correctly, but it was 19-18. Georgia was barely winning the game, and they scored the touchdown, and I don't think they got it when they went for two. So I'm trying to remember, but anyway, that was Brock Bowers making that play. And then you think back, and I mean, forget the UAB game in 21 where he exploded on the scene. Think back to the Florida game in 22, and that I don't really know how else to explain it other than miraculous catch that he made against Florida, a ball that certainly could have been picked off, but instead went for a 65, 70-yard touchdown. It was a stunning play, and that ball that is featured in Double Dogs, that image. But and then you fast forward to the Ohio State play against where he went full Jedi on the whole world and put his hand down and moved the ball. I mean, that was hard to. I bet he couldn't do that twice. Well, I doubt he could do that twice. The funniest thing about all of that, I'm open, thank you. The funniest thing about, see, we're out here hanging out. I don't know what y'all are doing. Y'all maybe you probably watch this while you're tailgating, and we're have the luxury of doing this at home because we don't have to tailgate when you live in Athens. So we just kind of hang out outside sometimes on Saturdays in our backyard. But what I was going to say was he is as consequential a player as anybody that's not Stetson or Herschel. And I don't think that's overstating it. I do not think that's overstating it because wherever, A.D. Mitchell, by the way, is to some degree too, but A.D. Mitchell now plays for Texas. When you think about when you think about the key moments of Georgia's championships these last 2 years, Brock Bowers has played a huge part of them. Herschel will always be, it's going to be hard to ever have Herschel Walker and everything that was so magical about 1980 and winning the Heisman Trophy 2 years later and playing for the national championship 2 years out of three, winning three straight SEC championships. It's going to be hard to change the minds of Georgia folks about Herschel Walker. But I will say that Stetson Bennett is at least right there, if not at the same level as Herschel. And that Stetson's legend will grow over time. I don't know if Brock Bowers' legend will grow over time. Brock Bowers, the play against Auburn last week, if that were just some play, people would remember that play forever. I mean, they remember that play for years. But he's just made bigger plays than that already. I mean, Michael Johnson, people remember Michael Johnson in 2002. I mean, that was obviously a huge pivotal moment, but you're telling me that the Brock Bowers, Jedi hand thing, the funny thing against Ohio State, the funny thing about, Brock for us that do what we do, what made it complicated for us was two things. A, he didn't play his senior year in California. B, he was in California. And C, it was COVID. So he didn't play because of COVID and he was so far away. And there's a whole story that comes with the Brock. There's a legend of Brock Bowers too, but it's not yet completed at Georgia. So we don't know what the final story is with Brock Bowers. Could he win the Heisman? I'm pretty skeptical that he could. And I say that as a Heisman voter for the last 16 or whatever it is years, 17 years. It's just, or 18 years, geez. So it's going to be hard for a tight end to win it. But if a tight end were to win it, it would be him. And I just don't, the quarterbacks are so good. When you think about Penix at UW or, today, even with Oklahoma and Texas, with their outstanding quarterbacks, Gabriel and oh my gosh, Quinn Ewers. Obviously, what the quarterback at SC has done has been amazing. So you've got a lot of, but Brock now has. I mean, all he's missing, I think, is throwing a touchdown. And he is somewhat like Hines Ward, except he doesn't play quarterback. He can do so much. He can do so much stuff. And you rewatch the Auburn game, and some of his blocking was outstanding last week in pivotal moments. And he's not a lot bigger than me. I think we're about the same size, and which means he's a pretty big per. I'm about 6'5", 240. Okay, so I may have some weight that he doesn't have, but it's not good weight. I can tell you that right now. But so he's a big person, and he has the capability of winning some of these fights on the outside in block game. But I'm talking about, man, there's just not a lot of people that can run like him, like anybody. Receivers, once he gets going, man, he's gone. Think about the touchdown against Georgia Tech on a screenplay. Think about the touchdown against South Carolina. When he gets it moving, you're just not catching him. A lot of people, I think I mean, might be wrong about this comparison, but he reminds me more of like Shannon Sharp than he does other, like the current, like Kelsey and them. Those are big people. Brock Bowers, Shannon Sharp's a big guy. But man, like he could just make plays and plays and plays in the open field. And, Brock Bowers is get it to him and watch out because you may be striking up the band in about a half a second because this guy can get to the end zone. He's spectacular. Is he Michael Jordan? No, because nobody's Michael Jordan, but he's really good. We're going to see him later tonight against the Cats. Thanks for watching.